We gotta look back at this.
How does he maintain possession?
Jenkins, and that definitely was a little helmet-to-helmet on that hit.
Guys, Meredith Gorman here, and are you still not subscribed to Matt's channel? Well, if you're not, hit the subscribe button because he's giving out free picks each and every week. Hope you have a good rest of your day.
NFL Week 10 is here, guys. Past halfway through the regular season. Yes, the season is flying by. A few good matchups this week. I'll be looking at a couple of them. Browns at Ravens, big divisional game there. 49ers at Jags. Very important game, especially for the 49ers. Interesting one there. And the Monday nighter, I'll be looking at Broncos at Bills. Coming off a nice NFL Week 9, going 4-1-1 with a push. Could have easily been a 6-0 weekend, but I did get caught by the Dobbs magic. The Dobbs magic ruined a moneyline parlay, two-teamer with the Falcons. And we pushed on the Saints at -7 due to a missed field goal by 46-yarder. I missed a 6.5 on that Saints game. A little upset about that. I don't mind a push. At the end of the day, you're not losing any money. You're getting the money back. But the Bears did play a bit better than expected, especially on the road. On Tampa Bay last week, some of you guys would know that. For clients, I was on the +3, which did cash for a full unit there. Free play was, man, Tampa Bay had that wrapped up. Loved that play. Loved the Tampa Bay moneyline play at, +140 it was, +135. They had that game wrapped up, right? Baker goes down, gets the touchdown late, 30 seconds left? And somehow Stroud brings this team down the field. Tip my cap to CJ Stroud. Unbelievable performance. Most yards thrown by a QB, right, in a game. Passing Andrew Luck. He had 470 yards, 5 TDs in that game. So it's an embarrassing performance by the Bucs D as well, right? It's not like, it mind boggles me, and this shows you how good Stroud is. They do not have a ton of weapons. Now, they have weapons that are starting to look like they're legit guys, right? Hollins, Dell, the young receiver there. But they just don't have a ton of weapons. And, the run game is slacking as well. Pierce was out for that game. So, tip my cap to Stroud, right? But the Bucs D should definitely be embarrassed throwing that game away. We also cashed on our client teaser. Hopefully you did. I gave you guys 2 plays for the teaser last week. Those both hit. And we went 2-0 in the Cowboys-Eagles game. That total was low at 46.5. Took advantage of that low line there. Went over 46.5. And the Dak over passing yards. He almost, he went over 100 yards from the total. Total was way too low. You can't run really on this Eagles team. So I think Dak's total was 247, 246.5, if I recall. He went well over 300, so a nice hit there. 11-3 NFL run currently last 2 weeks. 7 of 9 profitable weeks, guys. Very happy with that. Over 15.5 units on the season. 65% all bet. System capping, systemsportscapping.com or link.me/systemcapping. For all records in all sports, currently handicapping the NFL, UFC, PGA, NBA, and NHL. Client opportunities over there to see my personal plays in all these sports, guys. Getting going in the NHL and NBA, very low volume to start the year. Getting hot in the NHL, 5-1 run, NHL run right now. NBA is very low volume, only 4 bets so far this season. We're 2-2 on those. PGA and UFC all year long. It never stops, the PGA and UFC. That's why I love handicapping it. That's why I make sure my percentages are high in those sports, because they go all year long. I never disappear, right? I always have those sports to lean on. They're great most weeks. Follow me on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. All socials over there. You can find sports betting news, sports news in general, and free picks. Let's do a Circa recap on the Browns. Circa Survivor. We're on the Browns last week. Probably my easiest Circa win all year. We moved to week 10. That's always the goal. Get to the double digits in Survivor week 10. I'm here. There's about, I think, 1,200 people left out of 9,500. We're set up there. We got to just try to avoid these upsets. To get to the big prize. happy with the survivor so far, but not happy unless, I'm profiting or making money from it. So let's see how far we can go. I think I'm set up fairly good this week. Few news and notes. I did kind of go over week 9 already, but hey, we got to start talking about this Ravens defense. And is this Ravens team the best in the NFL? Right? Easily this team could be 9-0, but let's not say coulda, woulda, shoulda. Right? We know the Pittsburgh loss, 7 drop balls in that game, and 11% chance of Pittsburgh winning that game in the fourth quarter. It happened, right? So it happened. I don't think Pittsburgh's the better team, obviously. Ravens will show that when they play Pittsburgh in a few weeks. Next game, what was the Colts? Very bad loss too. Bad loss against the Colts. They gave away a lead in the fourth quarter. They should have won that game as well. But we're at 7-2, one of the better records in the NFL. This defense, guys, it's starting to look like the Ray Lewis 2000 defense. Numbers aren't going to be just exactly like that. That was historic, especially in a league that's more offensive these days. But allowing only 13.8, top in team sacks, top interception leader in Geno Stone, top sack leader for interior D-lines in Matabuke at 7.5, 4.6 yards per attempt, fewest in the league, and it goes so on and on and on and on. I love defenses. That's why I always like Baltimore, watching Baltimore, and been a fan of Baltimore for a very long time. That defense is back, guys. Very scary team to play. Cleveland could be in trouble this week. Dobbs' performance. I talked about it a little bit at the top of the video here, but what a performance from Josh Dobbs. This guy cannot be counted out, right? Did not practice with the starters. Barely knew their names or the playbook, and back-to-back TD drives to win it. He ran a little bit in there, his legs. He can run. He does have some legs. And he scored a TD drive with a minute left to steal that game from Atlanta. Hats off to Dobbs. Atlanta, disappointing, right? Disappointing defense. In that, the tough part is, like I mentioned, I had Atlanta in the money line parlay. If that rookie QB stayed in all game, Atlanta wins that game comfortably. Right, that was the plan. That was why I backed Atlanta. I probably wouldn't have bet Atlanta if Dobbs was starting and Dobbs had some time with the team. Minnesota was playing well, right, going into that game. But anytime I can get a rookie, especially a not notable rookie, starting a game, first time in the NFL, I always back the other team, and it pays off a lot more than it doesn't, guys. It's high percentage. I would say well over 70% in that type of situation. So that was the plan. Atlanta was going to win the game, and what happens? The rookie QB gets hurt. Yes, he gets hurt in the game. So Dobbs came in and stole the show. So bad beat there, right? You're going to have them, but definitely happy with that week. Obviously, the Stroud performance, CJ Stroud, I talked about already. And how about the Raiders, right? The Raiders smoking cigars. Could this be the turnaround, right? They got rid of Josh McDaniels. I think the team is happy about that. I know the fans are. They brought the interim coach who seems a little more loose. Let them play. Me personally, it looks funny probably at the big teams that are looking for Super Bowl aspirations. Smoking cigars you want to do if you win the division or you win the Super Bowl, in my opinion. These guys just beat the Giants in a regular season game. But, hey, anything to make this team better. This team, if this is going to help them, hey, why not? I'm not going to dog it, right? But, you just beat the Giants. Relax. Maybe it's going to help them, and the Raiders may be a good play this week. Let's hear from my friend Kristen before we get into this card.
For you sports bettors out there, let's be honest, you probably need a little bit of help beating those books. System capping is a proven long-term winner against the sports betting market in multiple sports. He's built a worldwide clientele due to his high winning percentage over the years. Be sure to click the link on the bio down here to check out his profile, and you can also find out his resume, client comments, podcasts, and subscription opportunities. I'm going to be following him along too, so let's win some money together this season.
Shop around, and shop around. Have multiple books, guys. Can't stress that enough. Let's get right into it. Browns at Ravens. Ravens minus 6.5. Total 38.5. Big game in the North, right? Ravens are 2 games up on the Browns and all teams actually in the North. If the playoffs started today, guys, all 4 teams would make the playoffs. in the same division. I don't know if that ever happened before. I'm sure it has, but I can't remember the last time it happened. If all four make the playoffs to end the year, it's halfway through, right? So I don't think all four teams will make the playoffs. You never know, though. You never know. This is definitely the best division in the NFL. I do think the Steelers and Browns are fairly lucky to be 5-3. Let's be honest here. However, it's their records, right? And Browns are at that record mainly due to their defense. Very impressive defense. Not as good as the Ravens, but it's just under there. Third in points allowed at 17.4, guys. First in yards allowed per game at 234.8. Ravens are right there at second at 262. You know, a battle of two of the best defenses this week. And that's the football I love. I love hard-nosed, physical games with teams with good defenses. You know, Watson's back, came back last week and looked good in a shutout against the Cardinals, right? 27-0. Threw for 219 and 2 TDs. But that's the Cardinals defense. Poor defense at that. Let's not get too excited. You know, seems healthy now. I wouldn't say 100%, however, good enough to start. This is a tall task with limited weapons in Cleveland to get a road win here. Right? Also hard to run the ball with Hunt and Ford on a consistent basis. Right? That was such a tough loss for Chubb. And this Cleveland team, of course. Such a tough blow when you're losing your best player on the, well, I'm going to say team on offense, right? Wow, it's tough. It's tough. Like when Ravens lose Dobbins, that was a big loss for them at running back, but they had depth. They had depth, right? Cleveland doesn't really have the depth with offensive weapons. So when they lost Chubb, it was a big loss. So their defense is carrying this team on their back. It's a tall task, right? Tall task for the Browns to get a road win here. If I look at it, right, if you look at some of these numbers here with the Ravens defense, the way to probably beat them is run the ball, get a run established, right? They're 8th on the year. It's not bad. 8th on the year against a run. But that's their weakness, if there is a weakness on this team, right? You can run a little bit on this team. You're not going to be able to throw on this team and, you know, break down the secondary. Watson's not going to pick apart the secondary with limited weapons, right? They have limited weapons. They don't have a guy that can really, you know, Cooper I really like. At this stage in his career, I don't think he can just open up a game and dominate like a Marlon Humphrey, because Marlon Humphrey should be on him. They're going to have to find other ways, right, to beat this team. You know, I think Cooper does get his share of targets. It's just, I don't know how much he's going to be able to do with it, right? This secondary is very good against the pass. They work well together. Love this Mike McDonald defense. It's very good. You guys will see it this weekend if you decide to watch it. Remember, last time these two teams played, Ravens blew them out. PJ Walker the rookie QB, I forget what his name was, but their third string started in that game. So you got to keep that in mind. But the important part, the Ravens put up 28 points in that game. They put 28 points in week 4, and that's the same defense they have now, right? So keep that in mind. On the road, Lamar Jackson picked apart and solved this. Now, a lot of it's because the Ravens did get some good field position due to the rookie QB turning the ball over. So that is one thing to mention here. Not too sure if Ravens will again get up to 28, 30 points, but their offense has looked incredible. So I'm not going to say no. And that's why it's hard for me to back Cleveland here at plus 6.5, even though it does look like a little bit of a high spread due to the Browns' defense. It's just, can they score enough on the best defense in the league, guys? That's the question. And that's why I'm going to stay away from this game for clients. The Browns plus 6.5 kind of does look enticing, but when you really look at it, you're going to have to say, right, Watson, here's how the Browns cover this game. Watson's going to have a really good game. Someone's going to have to really step up. They're going to have to be able to run the ball a little bit, right? And they're going to have to limit Lamar Jackson and this offense, who just put up over 30 points against a Seattle team, which is a good defense as well. And Baltimore's at home. Super confident right now, right? So Browns are going to have to limit under 20 points, I would say. Like, I don't see Browns scoring more than 17. I think 17 would be a lot, right? And I can see them more, in the 14, 16 range, if they're lucky, if they play well. So the 6.5 is a bit high. Why I'm going to stay away from it, you can look at Baltimore in the teaser market, right? Get that down just to win. I would look that way on them. Not super confident in the 6.5, but I get it. I can see why they win by a touchdown. Right? We've seen Lamar already do it against this defense. Watson has improved. He can beat this Ravens defense as of yet. It's his first look that he has at them. And is he 100%? Right? Can they run the ball with their limited guys in Hunt and Ford? A lot of questions with Cleveland. So Ravens, I do think win the game. I like them more in the teaser market here. And I'm going to lean the under. Now, the under's a bit tricky. It's a bit tricky. I don't see the Browns putting up like 20 plus points. That's not going to happen. But, you could see the Ravens scoring again in the mid-20s. So if you start getting the Ravens in the mid-20s, obviously if it goes into the 30, if Ravens do score 30, this game goes over. Don't think they'll score 30, but if the Ravens are in the mid-20s, you're going to be worried, right? You're going to start getting worried. So this game totally for clients, I'm staying off. But I'm going to lean the under 38.5 and play the Ravens in the teaser market. That spread is tough to get to. 49ers -3 versus Jags, total 45.5. Very excited for this game for multiple reasons. One, 49ers off a bye and healthy after losing 3 straight. How are they going to come out and look in this game? Love that angle. Love that angle for them. And it's a good bounce back spot, good situational bet on the 49ers this week. Right, Jacksonville. Not many teams talk about this team. They're 6-2, guys. They're 6-2. They're a top 5, top 7 team in the NFL right now. I have them ranked ahead of the 49ers. Maybe not at the end of the year, as of right now. 6-2, leading the division. Some good wins, too. And some big wins on the road, to mention. Pittsburgh on the road was a big win. Saints on the road. And they beat Bills in London. But this would be their biggest test yet, in my opinion, especially due to the situation, guys. When you bet on sports, when you bet on NFL, any sport, situational bets are very important. Angles, right? A part of my system. I'm not going to give the system away. But angles and situational bets are a part of the system and things I look at. And 49ers are in a perfect situational spot here, right? I'm not going to say a do or die spot, but, this team losing 4 in a row, who had that at the beginning of the year? Nobody. This team started 5-0, guys. Then Purdy started not playing well. They got hurt. They got banged up. And their defense wasn't playing up to par. They brought in Chase Young to even booster that defensive. This defensive line probably was the best going into the season. They brought in Chase Young for more reinforcements. I expect Bosa to start playing a little better. They should have Trent Williams back for this game. Deebo Samuel will be back for this game. I expect this team to be highly motivated. I'm not saying they weren't prior, but extra motivated after the bye to get a win here. Jags, their defense has improved, but the way to beat this team is in the air. Their secondary and their passing numbers have been terrible this year. 30th in the NFL, guys. 30th in the NFL. That is their weakness. Very solid numbers against the run. They're actually 4th against the run. Hard to run on this team, so it'll be interesting to see the matchup between them and CMC. But 8th in points allowed, solid as well. But their weakness is against the pass. And that's perfect for Purdy, right? Purdy has been struggling. Give me one of the worst secondaries in the league. I like the spot here for the 49ers. The -3 is a tricky number, right? This is a spot maybe where I would buy a 1.5. I rarely buy points, but get it down to 2.5. Bet the money line too. Get -155, -160. Not the end of the world. Not something I suggest week to week. But I like the 49ers to bounce back here. You can even get them in the teaser market, +4, 7-point teaser. I like the spot here enough. Now, this Jags team is good. I like them, right? I wouldn't be surprised if they win the game. But then 49ers are going to prove to me, this team's not for real. This team is not going to make that Super Bowl push. This team is not what we all thought they were. So this is a perfect spot for the 49ers to bounce back. This may make my client card this week on the 49ers. I'm going to wait to see if it goes down to 2.5. I don't think it will. I may buy a half here. I may just play the money line. Or may look in the teaser market. Total, what is it, 45? I lean the under. 45 here, but not going to bet it. Monday Nighter, Broncos at Bills, 7.5. Total 46.5. Interesting one here. Bills who have struggled this year and not living up to expectations. Denver playing a little better. Playing better right now, back-to-back wins. One being over the Chiefs in a big game. Now, some of these wins are at home for Denver, right? Don't play as good on the road. Tall task to go into Buffalo and win this game, especially Buffalo losing 2 out of 3. I expect them to be ready for this game, especially on Monday night in Buffalo, where it's usually tough to play. 7.5 is a bit high. If I had to play the spread here due to the recent concerns with this Buffalo team, I would have to lean the Broncos plus 7.5, but I expect Bills to win this game. Right, so you can look Bills in the teaser market. Get that down. Bills should win this game. Broncos, like I mentioned, playing better, but tall task on the road. I like Denver at home. Denver at home, I would take the points usually with Denver at home. On the road, it's a little bit of a different story. Right, Josh Allen, let's quickly look at he is just very up and down. Very difficult team to predict this year, the Buffalo Bills. Right? Allen has the most TDs in the NFL, but then at 24, but then he has the most interceptions at 9. Very tough to predict week to week how he's going to play, guys. Very difficult. Right? Russell Wilson playing better. He's playing better football. Last year, he was not good. He was not good. We all know that. Little better this year. 16 TDs on the year. 101 passer rating. Pretty good. But not as good on the road compared to home, guys. Another thing I have to stress here. Interesting to see how the Bills bounce back here. If you have been backing the Bills this year in most of their games, you're probably down, right? You're probably down, especially in the spread market. They do struggle to cover games. I stay away from them in the spread market. I don't know if I bet a spread them all year. I don't recall. But I have been tailing them at times in the teaser market and the money line market as well. Picking spots with them. And this is a good spot I like in the teaser market for the Bills just to get a home win. I like them this week. Spread's high. Lean the Broncos plus 7.5. I think Bills get it done by 6-7 points. Underdogs. Tough beat last week, right, with Tampa Bay. I would bet that game the same way I did 10 out of 10 times. Right, they should have won that game. Bad beat there for us. But the Bucs D didn't show up when it should have, right? Stroud, career game. Best game from a rookie. That's how we lost. The way we lost that game is because Stroud had the best game ever as a rookie. Right? 45 seconds left, or I think even less. Came down the field and scored a TD. And that's on the That's on the Bucs D, right? It's on the Bucs D at the end of the day as well. So Bucs gave that one away. 11-4 on the year, free play underdogs, 74%. Not going to find that around the market, guys. So this week, I don't want to ruin this nice record, so I'm not giving out an official play. I did that a few times last year as well. This year, not as yet, but I am doing that this year. And the reason for that, I like the Raiders. Raiders were plus money at the beginning of the week on Monday or Tuesday. Now they're favored by -1. So that was going to be my play. So feel free to play the Raiders, but it's not going to count as an underdog. The other one will be a lean. It'll be the Vikings at home, right? They continue to win and find ways to win games. Saints aren't playing up to par. You can get Vikings at plus 125. Maybe a small unit there, but it's not going to be official play for the underdogs this week. But it's going to be a lean on the Vikings at home. And maybe look at the Raiders. I don't think that line will flip to an underdog. A lot of money is coming onto the Raiders, and it's a good situational bet, right? Zach Wilson on the road, and the Raiders having some swag, smoking those cigars, feeling good, right? I get it. I get it there. But that Jets defense can be difficult at times, right? So keep that in mind. Teaser options. We talked about a few already. Bills, right, just to win the game. We cashed our client teaser last week. Profitable in the teaser market this year. I talked about already the Bills, 49ers. You can get that at +4, and the Seahawks. I love the Seahawks this week just to win the game in a bounce back after getting demolished by the Ravens. That will do it, guys. That will do it. NFL Week 10 this season is flying by. It's been a great year so far. Hopefully we continue that in NFL Week 10. If you haven't checked out the UFC video already, check it out. Big card in New York this weekend. Like I always say, bet smart and know your limits. Take care.